Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the live show where we break down the market like nobody else. I mean, we just pick out every single popper that runs through the market. Speaking of which, DRUG drug was on drugs today. We went over that in the pre-market. It was on the Jolie's jumpers list. She posted it last night. DJT ran up, topped out up there. From like 13, it ran up to over 33. We had fun. That was ripping today. GRTS. Yang was moving. WBA. I've been talking about Walgreens. We'll go over that. VEV. We were talking about the bounce on VEV. JDZG. That was on a list before. That was popping. NIVF. We talked about that. That was popping. So tons of them, just nonstop, huge poppers now. It's been nonstop since we caught that pattern, and we just been ripping through these bad boys. So let's get started and check out the market. All information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not intended as financial advice. So always do your due diligence. And here we go. Let's take a look at them poppers as a matter of fact and just see how they look. DRUG looks like it was on speed today. It ran up like a maniac into the after hours. I know it got up to $50, so I'm gonna pull it up on mine because it doesn't have it that high on FinViz. And of course the let me might have to X out of the trend spider. Hold on, let me just pop this back in real quick. Takes me 2 seconds. You sometimes you have to redo it. All right, here we go. Let me pop in here. And it was DRUG. There we go. And it did. It ran up to, well, this says it 59.85. So it got up almost to 60. I thought I saw it get up to over 50. So it got almost to $60. It closed at 37. That's where it's at. And it was ripping today. So that was DRUG. And we went over it this morning. And I was going to say, it seems to be higher than that. I thought it was in like the 40s. So I don't know. I have to look at it, but I thought it was still at 40 something. Mine's saying 37 and FinViz is saying 47.70. So I'd have to look at that bad boy to see what it really is right now. But it did rip and it was going nuts today. It opened at 262. So there's DRUG. That was a wild one. PHUN, we'll obviously go over that later, but that opened up at 536 and got to 799 was a big ripper there, but we'll break that down. GRTS, let's go through that one. Gritstone, I posted this one the other day and it was setting up and now it's just starting to make that big curl. So watch for it to bounce around, but you kind of knew it was going to start to make that bounce. I think it might kind of flatten out. We'll have to take a look at it tomorrow as it opens, but it had that quick run today and yesterday. Well, yesterday into today, I'll say, and now it's going to get set up. And maybe it'll actually get out of the basement as it curls up and really get popping. That 20's up at 35, and this is obviously at 6 cents. So it moved up to what, 8? And think it might have even been at 9 at one point. Let me look at the let me look at the after hours here on GRTS, and it got up to 10. I thought it got up to 9 at least. So yeah, it was up to 10 cents. And so the after hours it was moving a little bit more. On FinViz it just says it was like right under 8.5, but that was GRTS. And another one looking great. Let's look at WBA, that good old Walgreens. We talked about it last night, or it was it last night or 2 nights ago. I knew we knew the earnings was today. I'd have to go back and look. We might have talked about the last 2 nights, but I've been saying for over a month or so that this company's not in good shape and they better get it together. They're gonna, be going bankrupt, but they do have some room to try to get it together. Well, today they announced that they were shutting 1,200 stores, and the CEO is trying to seek a turnaround. So Walgreens hit with a $3 billion loss, gives more details on store closures. And like I said, they're going to close over 1,200 stores to try to turn the company around. Do these stock charts not tell you everything before the news? I mean, pinpointed that a month ago. I knew that was happening. And I kept saying it was going to happen, and obviously it kept dipping and dipping, and then either last night or night before, maybe both. You could see it was going to pop up. I said maybe their earnings are good. I guess they had decent earnings. I can't even really tell. It doesn't look like it if they lost that much money, but it was set up to run. I don't know why, but it's going to come back down. It's going to top out and come back down. It's going to be a disaster for this company. And I literally said the other day, just watch it. It's going to pop right there, and then that's going to be a wrap. So play WBA. I mean, I've called it from a month ago, over a month ago, and perfectly. So there's WBA, and it was just like Big Lots when I saw that chart, and I was like, whoa, that company's going to go bankrupt. And bam, what, a couple days later, they were filing for bankruptcy. So these charts can definitely tell you what's going on. I don't even need to look at their sheets, their financial sheets, but if you give them to me, I'll break them down too. But I don't even need them with the charts. And as you can see, they're pretty damn accurate. So there you go with Walgreens, and we were accurate with that one. So let's keep on cruising. VEV, we said last night, just watch for this little bounce, and it was a little one. It wasn't anything crazy, but it did bounce enough where it was worth it if you jumped in it. It opened at 8 and got up to about 10 cents. So it wasn't too bad because anything like that, you're talking each percent is almost 10% right there. So you have to figure that's a nice little jump when it jumps up 2 cents when they're this cheap. So that was VEV. And what's it going to do tomorrow is the question. I'm not so sure it's going to be bouncing anymore. So I would keep my eye on it. I will, but we'll have to just watch and see if it can. It's still pulling back, but you could just tell it wanted to have that bounce today. And we were talking about it yesterday, and I even wrote it down. So that was VEV, and that did bounce. JDZG. This one was popping up today, and this was one of our lists because I posted it out after I believe I forget Peninsula Life was it that saw it? I forget who exactly saw it and posted about it. And I went back. I was like, I know we looked at this one. I remember it. And sure enough, we had looked at it and it was way down here, probably in the cents. I forget exactly where, but it was probably in the 50s. And today it ran up to $1.75. Let me see if it ran up even higher than that because $1.75. So it did run up to $1.75. It ran up yesterday and it got popping today. It's in the top. It may actually try to keep that momentum in the morning. So watch for JDZG to possibly be a momentum play in the morning and continue that momentum, but it will hit that top up there and have to come back down. And that's JDZG. And another one we had gone through. I mean, we're early on everything. And look at NIVF because we definitely went through this one as well. It's a Taiwan company. Believe it was on Laptop Travel's list. This thing ran up the last few trading days. It was even running up, what, last week, the 11th, the 14th, 15th. So today and yesterday. And then today it like ran up. It opened at 79, went up to 328. It might even ran up higher than that because I remember I saw it and I thought it was up 328. Maybe I'm wrong. So there it was. It was at 328. It was over three. So yeah, that makes sense. 328. So it was over three. And there you go. So it did come back down to 196 and jumped up to 223 in the after hours. It looks like mine says 209. So right around there. And another one, it's up in the top and could have a little momentum play in the morning. So just keep an eye on that as well. And that's another one that was popping. So a lot of them that we've been early on, but we've also been pinpointing them as well. So we've been rocking and rolling through this market. So let's get cruising through our list and see what's happening here. So we did the drug GRTS, WBA. So now we're going to CERO and let's check it out here. Any questions, let me know, and we'll take a look at whatever you want to see. But CERO, it is setting up. It yesterday it obviously ran up a little higher. It was in the tens today. It was in the nines, but it doesn't look bad. A little healthy pullback. I'm just going to pull it up on mine, CERO, and just kind of running flat there today. Nothing crazy, and looks like it's in a decent spot to me. So I would assume it's still trying to set up there. Don't look like anything happened or anything bad. And you can almost look for it to try to pop off if it keeps that momentum. It may try to run up to that 11 cent area. So watch CERO in the morning because you may have that run right there. It's right on the 20 and it's trying to catch that momentum. Pull back a little bit in the after hours. I don't even know why Finviz is looking. Yeah, they both are. What they open 10. This will tell me better. It opened at point zero, like 9.5, and it closed. Oh, I'm not even sure what's going on, but the candles look weird for some reason. This one's looks Finviz actually looks more normal than mine, but it is setting up right there and it looks decent. I'll look at it in the morning as well. Let me throw a little mark next to it so I remember because it's right there. So you can look at that early, and I may be up to look at that as well. So CERO, we'll take a look at that one. CETX, let me type that in there. There we go. CETX was down 2 cents, and this one did split. And like I said, you can play it, and it's going to probably go down lower than what it closed the day before. So what it yesterday it closed at 40 cents, just under 41. Today it opened at 41, got up to 44, and its low is 38, and that's where it closed. It did exactly like I said, and it's going to continue to do that. So you can play it, but just know that's what it's doing. We already got the run off the initial split, and now this thing just has to set back up. And I don't even think we're gonna have to wait for the 20 because it's at four something. We're just gonna look at this as a regular setup, MACD crossing up, and I'll get that signal and know, and just have an idea of when it's gonna get running. So CETX, you can play it as it's curling up, but just know that you're going to have to play it that day. It's not something that you're going to be holding and waiting for the next day to pop just yet. It's just not ready yet to do it. And we were talking about that last night. So that is CETX, BURU, BURU. Yeah, Nubaru, that's it. And this one had run up, what was it, last week, I believe. Yeah, the 10th it ran up. So it got up to 148. I honestly thought it was going to try to run up higher right there Monday. Yeah, it got up to what, 127. I remember we were talking about it. And today it pulled back. It's coming back to that 20, which is almost at 62 cents, which is kind of crazy because it did pull back pretty hard right there. But at the same time, I don't know if it's completely done. So I'll keep my eye on it because it's just kind of curling down and it can stick right there at that 62, get completely set back up, and then it may take like a week or two, 2 or 3 weeks possibly. But if it does it, it'll set up the right way and be another popper, and that's when it'll get back over that high. So we'll watch it to keep that dip. And I wasn't even looking at the after hours. It went back up 96 cents. So there you go, right there. Let me look at it in the after hours. And BURU, I wasn't even paying attention. Mine said, yeah, 97 cents. So it opened at 109, 114, got down to 71, and it closed at 97 in the after hours. And yeah, it doesn't even look bad at all. So it could have been a nice little dip and rip. And again, could it have come down to the 62? It could have and hit that and still been safe. So I don't know if it's totally toast yet. And again, it ran way up in the after hours. So I'll look at BURU in the morning as well. And I still think it's going to try to get up higher than that high was. And maybe it'll take a little longer than I initially thought because it pulled back today. But I'm still sticking with it the way it looks today. And we'll reevaluate that bad boy in the morning and I'll let you know what it looks like. But even with that dips, it obviously jumped back up in the after hours and doesn't really look bad to me at the moment. So tell you what it looks like tomorrow. LGHL, that Lion Group Holdings, is getting to be in a really good spot, guys. I mean, it jumped up the last 2 days, and you may really see that damn thing pop. I mean, October 11th, so on Friday, it started setting up at 17 and a half, and it closed at, it, holy cow, it closed at like 18. And then Monday it opened at that 18.40, got up to 19, almost 19 and a half. And then today it's over 20. And tomorrow you may actually see pop off that 21 cent area exactly where it's at. Where is it? 21 cent. Yeah, it jumped up in the after hours. Let me see LGHL. Keep an eye on this bad boy as well because it's going to cross through tomorrow and get rocking and rolling. So it's been setting up the last 3 trading days since Friday, and now it's really ready to rock and roll. So watch that bad boy in the morning. I know we've been watching it and said it was in a good spot right there even yesterday. So it did run up more today. You got some percentage out of it, but it's setting up to even to be even better there. And that's LGHL, and that is a China one. And these penny China ones are still looking good. The big caps don't seem to be so great, but the penny ones that are set up are fine. So we're rocking and rolling with them. So we're going to keep looking at these charts, and as they're setting up, we're happy with it. So there you go. And Peninsula Life just said, been in LGHL for a couple weeks now, and it's going to rip any time. Well, that time's tomorrow, Peninsula Life. So watch for it in the morning because I think you guys are going to be excited about that one. And I know we've been talking about it. It did do that pullback right there, um, starting the 7th, October 7th, but now it's ready to get ripping back up and make that hard curl. So that could run like a lion tomorrow, LGHL. So keep an eye on that bad boy in the morning. SURG, it still wants to surge. It did the other day on what was that? Friday? Yeah, it ran up Friday and then ran up just as high, but a little lower yesterday. And today it pulled back. Kind of thought it was going to, but we didn't know how hard it would dip, and it wasn't even bad. Stuck itself right on the 50. I thought it might have came down to that 175, and it didn't even do that. It came to 179. So it's not looking terrible. Could easily try to surge right off as this 20 and 50 meet up and go way higher than that, what, 212 right there. So keep an eye on this surge, SURG, in the morning. If it tries to curl back up, it's going to be a runner. Surge pays. We'll start to pay on the surge. So keep an eye on it. SURG not looking bad, even with that little pullback today. So we'll keep an eye on that one in the morning. Let me just give that a quick mark, and I will keep an eye on that. MLGO down 3 cents. Honestly didn't look too bad today. I know it did run up a little bit. It got up to 40 cents. Did it get up a little higher? Hold on. Nope, 40 cents. It did just get to the 40. It was like almost 40 and a half. So it got over 40 cents, but not the 41 MLGO. And that 50 is sitting right there at like just under the 41 cents. And that's what I was looking to see. If it got there, because I knew where it needed to get, because I've been looking at it, obviously. So it is still set up. It's making a nice base right there. It's not bad at all. And just kind of running up. It's done it almost the last what, 4 trading days, like October 10th. So that was probably Friday or Thursday, Friday, Monday, and today. It just kept running up and pushing the envelope and not getting through. Well, it's going to get through probably in the next day or so. It's looking pretty decent right there. So a little bit of pullback, nothing crazy, another one. And I think it could get cruising, or it could just be setting up this week as that 20 comes up to it and the 50 comes down. You're going to see a bunch of them where the 20s and 50s are going to meet up right there. And these things crush off of that thing. We've watched multiple ones just pop right off of that spot. So it could be setting up for that, but just keep your eye. If it can get over, like I said, over that 41 area, yeah, you know it can get cruising. So I was looking for it to get to 41 today, and it never pushed into there. So we'll keep our eye tomorrow on MLGO, and I will make sure I look at it and see if it's ready to go. And then that BE is that Bloom Energy. And it was just kind of flat. You know how I like these guys. It didn't actually, it wasn't completely flat. At least it opened at 10:38. It closed at 10:46, what it says, and it went up in the after hours. But this thing is setting up. Let me look at it on mine. Get a better look here. Yeah, this thing is setting up right here. Has that resistance right there around 1086. And yep, right around 1082, 1086, somewhere's in that range right there. So it may want to just meet up with that area. It's at 1046. It got to 1055 in the after hours. And yeah, 1055 is what mine says too. Just making sure. So yeah, it wants to get there. If it gets to that 1085, another one, you're gonna have that blast off. And it wants to right now. It's trying. So keep your eye on BE Bloom Energy, because I said it's gonna have some energy blooming real soon, and it's looking pretty good to get right in that spot to run off. And that's BE DTSS. Let's look at that. That was down 12 cents today, just kind of pulling back a little bit. Nothing crazy. The 20 did come back down with it, so it's actually kind of a good look. I'm gonna take a look at this one in the morning. It's had a lot of hard come downs, like coming down hard on that MACD line and doesn't even cross. It's been staying over it. And I kind of have a feeling it is. And another one where you got your 20s and 50s trying to meet. And it also has some good support right there, $2, 201 right in that area. So DTSS, yeah, it's at 222. It opened at 228. What it close at yesterday? This was, oh, I was just gonna say, there's something weird. This was one of them ones that opened and closed in the same spot at 234 yesterday, and I just couldn't get a good look at it and an idea. And I'm looking at it right now, like, why can't I tell what it wants? Because it had that weird look. I can tell now what it kind of wants to do better. And like I said, we're gonna look to see if it wants to bounce off. But I'm looking at it like, why couldn't I? Why didn't it move yesterday? And then it had that strange look where it opened and closed on the same price. And I hate when it does that. I was explaining it last night, so I won't get into it. But just kind of throws me off and makes the look weird. And then today it just kind of pulled back a little bit, but nothing crazy at all. And I think you're going to have a little bounce play here. And this is another China one data C. So watch for this one to try to bounce. I'm just marking bounce right there because I think it's going to have that bounce opportunity probably real close to tomorrow. It's right there coming down to the MACD. What did it do in the after hours? Let me see. DTSS. Let me look. Yeah, it's just right there, right above it. And honestly, it looks like it wants to bounce off of it to me. If I had to guess, I would say it was going to. Clearly tomorrow I'll look at it and we'll see. In the morning, you're gonna know if this thing's moving up, it's bouncing off. So if it's green and cruising, it's gonna be a bouncer. So that's DTSS. OPRA. That was down 19 cents, came back down to that 20 right there. And this one was hit coming up to that line hard and just kind of hit it. And it was like a wall. It just went sideways. But the 20's coming up to push it along. So it will get up. Maybe it has to pull back a hair. It did go up 16 cents in the after hours. So let me take a look, see what the chart looks like on OPRA. That's an interesting one because it could go either way easily. So I'd have to look at that one tomorrow. Had some good pullback today, but it's sitting right there on the line. So it didn't want to go down. But obviously tomorrow, if it's not a great day for it for whatever reason, and it had over 200,000 in volume, so I'll take a look at it. But it should want to try to bounce off of that 14 area, 1490 area, and it's back up to 1527 in the after hours. Mine says 1511, but that's where it closed at on here. And it's so crazy how they give you different after hour prices between Finviz and mine. And you can tell like mine didn't give an after hours because that's where it closed at. So it's just weird, but whatever. We'll just take what we have given to us and we look at it. But like I said, it just hit that line, went flat. It didn't bounce down off of it. So watch for this one to try to get itself back together tomorrow. And the 20's right under it, the 50's coming up for it. So another one where they could just meet in like the next week or two. But it still looks like it wants to set up OPRA. So we will keep an eye on that as well. NDRA. This one's been in the basement forever. And I know a couple people were asking me because it did run up the other day on the 10th, which was last week, and it got to what? I forget, 22 cents. And then it just keeps staying flat, but the MACD's running up, and I'm telling you, it's trying to get there. Today it was in a better spot. It's been in a great spot since the 10th right there. So it's the last few days, and that's since what, Thursday, Friday, today, and yesterday and today. It's been in a great spot right there. It's just a matter of it getting hooked up and running. So NDRA is right about there. So I would be keeping an eye on it. It did pull back more than I thought today. What did it get down to? 19 cents, a little over 19 and a half, and it got to only about 20, under 21 cents. So didn't really have a lot of movement on the way up today. Kind of pulled back a little bit, but still not sitting in a bad spot in them after hours, and it still looks good to me. So sometimes you get a day or two of that pullback, and when they're sitting right there, and then they get set up and bam, they run off. So we try to pinpoint them as accurate as we can. And this one is sitting right there. It's in the right spot. And so you would think that it's going to get moving very, very soon right there with NDRA. So obviously keeping an eye on that bad boy. And let's look at AUD because that one was trying to set up yesterday. Another one trying to get in the right spot. And yep, it's going to probably be tomorrow is Wednesday, Thursday. So right there, we were saying by Thursday, Friday. Yesterday, I believe I might have said by Thursday. It should be there by Thursday, and that's going to be the setup. And it's kind of bouncing off that bottom. I don't know if it's going to get back down to that 53 and a half. It did on Friday. That's where it got down to. That could be its low, but just watch for that price on this bad boy. It's at 57 and a half right now. And that hard line's coming down. The 20's at 66, and that's coming down for it. And this thing's going to get set up very, very, very soon. So you're almost like a day or two out from the setup. Watch it in the morning if it's trying to bounce. It's right there on the bottom, and that line's right there. I don't know how much it's going to pull down in the morning, but it's right there. So it could easily jump up to that 60 cent area and get booming. So keep an eye on AUD to try to get to 60 cents and then it can get booming right there. So AUD, I would keep an eye on that as well. EDBL, let's look at that edible garden and see if it wants to start growing soon because it's already hooked up and curled through. So let's see. It has a weird look there, still dragging that bottom. And I think we might have to wait for that 20 to come down. It's at 40 cents now. So we're sitting at 21 and 21 and a half. Just some weird looks right there, but doesn't seem to want to really pop off yet. Nothing really gives that indication that it's ready to run. So keep my eye on EDBL. It was looking better as it was curling up, and it got a little bit of movement them couple days. And again, they pull down and then they have to set up. And once they get through that MACD, if there's nothing to push them up, they kind of just run flat. And that's how we kind of realized that new look that we picked up on. And it was mainly ABVE that kind of tipped me off because it was driving me crazy because it was right there looking great so many times. And then when I kind of broke it down and really reevaluated it and saw what the one thing that was going on that I didn't like, and that was it across the board. It was pretty simple to pick up. So EDBL, I think we may have to wait. It's crossed through and I'll keep an eye on it, but it may have like a couple weeks to really get set up again. CDT is that Conduit Pharmaceuticals. That was down 5% today. And I think it ran up on the 11th, which was Friday. That's right. It did run up pretty nice. And I remember be careful holding that bad boy over the weekend. And then it came down yesterday and today, and it's coming down. The 20's coming down and the 50. And unless it's going to bounce off that bottom right there, it may hit the bottom and kind of run flat down here. So we'll have to watch it. It's getting down to that bottom tomorrow. So I'll keep an eye if it does want to bounce off, and I'll keep you posted on that one. So I'll let you know about CDT in the morning or tomorrow if it's looking better. It could be one for later on in the week or next week. AUST, that one did run up in the morning. It was up to 177. It did open at 176. It was trying to get back in the top. I think it's just trying to make some movement up here, to be honest with you. Looks like that 150, it'll come down there and try to reset up. You'll get your 20 coming up for it. And it did it. It just needed some movement right there. It is a Canadian gold company. And I mentioned it way down here. I don't remember exactly where, but it was either in the 80s or 90s. I don't know how low it was. It was somewheres down there. And it ran up to 201 the other day. And now it's at 166, but again, I think it might try to make a base right around here. Just pull back on the chart and try to set up. So I guess the gold and all is looking very good right now. So we'll keep an eye on this one. And let me just do something real quick. I'm just going to pull up that gold scanner. Only 3 pages, so I just want to keep that up so I remember to look at it. And we will check them out as well at some point. So AUST. just a little bit of pullback there, but could be making a base as it makes some room on the chart. Keeping an eye on that one. UCAR, this one was getting set up to run. And I told you guys the other day, the last few days, it's going to get moving and drive up. And it did in the after hours. It rolled up like over 50 cents. I know that. Let me take a better look at mine to get a to know. It got up to 838. So it opened at 666, which is always nice. Its low is 638 and it got up to 838 and it's at 749 in the after hours. This says 736. So yeah. And where is that $8 area? Let me look. 838 is I have to look on this chart. I thought it was off the chart over there. I gotta pull it out so I can see where it is. I had it too 838 right there. It ran up pretty nice right there, huh? And it's just kind of beginning. What's the after hour chart? Yeah, it popped up there. Watch this one in the morning to try to keep some momentum and run up in the top right there. So just keep your eye on this one, UCAR, and see if this one can continue its momentum because it's way up there right now. Considering it ran up into the eights and it's back at the sevens. It was set up to run. We know that. So there you go. There's another one that we just nailed literally to the day. We were looking at the last few days and knew. So UCAR, UCAR just drove up in the after hours, just like we've been looking. And let's see if it can keep that momentum in the morning. It's hard to tell now because it popped in that after hour. So obviously, we're looking at it in the morning. Easy go, pull back though, and that's a perfect thing. Got down to 103, and it's hitting that perfect line right there. So let this one just bounce off this bottom real soon because it's setting up right here in the 140s, and that one's going to be a really nice one. So let that U-car run up, and then we'll have Easy Go set up, and we'll take that one up the next one. So that's how it'll run because we knew U-car was running and Easy Go is setting up, and it is. It's right there. And today it probably touched. Tomorrow, watch for a little bounce action on Easy Go. So let me just mark that one because that one's right there. It's either tomorrow or the next day. Easy Go wants to try to bounce. So we'll keep an eye on that bad boy as well. And what about our buddy Holo here? I had a few people asking me about it today, and somebody actually hit me up and was asking me some advice and asking me about exit points and how I do that. And I was talking about scaling out as I've talked about on here. And they said they actually heard me on here talk like heard me online talking about Holo and calling people out and then started following along and has enjoyed it. So I forget who it was, but that's awesome. And I love when new people find us because we have one great community here. I'm telling you guys. I mean, we nail everything. And I tell you all the time, I'm not the only one finding them. Send over the stock tickers. We break them down and we find out which ones are going to run. And we have great lists. Asian Jolie, our Jolie's jumpers in the morning, laptop travel sends some great list with his laptop lowdowns. And other people send some great lists as well. I mean, that's where half of this comes from is everyone sending in stock tickers throughout the day and I jot them down. So send them over, we break them down. We know it's popping and running at all times. We just dissect the market and look at the charts. What the charts tell me, I just tell you, and we run with them. So, and like I said, you can't possibly trade all these. It's impossible. You pick the charts that you're confident in, and you can kind of tell. Again, I'm not a financial guy, so I just look at stock charts and tell you what I see. All information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only, not intended as financial advice. So always do your due diligence, but I kind of make it pretty clear which ones I'm excited about. And and then there's always like a good handful of them, so you can kind of pick and choose through them ones which ones you're confident in. So, and I mark the list up, and usually at the end of the night, I tell you which ones I've asterisked, and we just rock and roll through popper after popper. And again, you don't have to hit every single popper. You almost don't even want to be honest with you, because that's a lot of trading. You just want to pick and lock and load into the ones that you're really confident with and and just smash them out of the park. And when you're confident with them and you know they're going to run, you don't got to trade 100 of them. You just pick that one and you're good to go, or maybe two or three. And then, like I said, you have that little rotation going where you're selling this one because it just popped, This one's setting up to get ready to pop, and now you're taking them profits from the one that you just sold, and you're finding the next setup, and you're just kind of juggling them like a perfect act. And maybe you have four or five, depending on your skill level. You don't want too many because they'll get confusing, trust me. And you just rock and roll right through them. So you don't want to be trading like 10 or 15, especially penny stocks. You see how fast they run. And if you're not on Web Bull anyway, you're not catching the maximum percentage of them and potential anyway. So you got to think of it that way as well. And you know, at 4 a.m., if they're popped up, generally they're going to be coming down. So we look at them at 7 a.m., and most of them are coming down. Some still have momentum, and other ones are setting up to run. So there's so many opportunities in the market depending on what you want to play. And then that's the other thing. You take your style and you roll with it. Not everybody can play the penny stocks, and I'll explain it again. And I do it all the time, but real quick. If you can't be looking at the computer all the time or even be on at 4 a.m. for Web Bull, especially right now, the penny stocks aren't for you. The big caps, Mag 7, they're much slower in setups and running. They don't just pop off 150% one day and then the next day get shorted down lower than the price that it was that you bought in. And you're just sitting there going, what the heck just happened? So, if you can't be on that game like that because you have other things going on and priorities and jobs and stuff and ch kids, and I get it, trust me, I understand 100%. I make it pretty clear I wasn't trading the penny stocks here and there. I do options and the big caps. I see why the hedge funds and the bigger people do these things. And yeah, I'll catch the 100%ers here and there, and they're beautiful runs. You lock them in and you're very happy and you had a great day. It's amazing. And you don't have to focus on the tops. You just want to lock in your profits and roll it into the next one. Compounding them is where you make your money. And that's how people really create that big account there. So it's not really hitting that one big one. Like today, for example, DRUG had tons of opportunity, but did you need to catch it from $2 to 50? I mean, yeah, it's great, trust me, but there was so much room in there to make a lot of money multiple times. So you just catch your opportunities, you lock them in, and you smile and move on to the next opportunity and lock them in. So, and just keep on rolling it. So just wanted to give everyone a heads up with that. I like to just kind of give that little spiel every once in a while, new people listening and tuning in. So I greatly appreciate it. And like I said, we have a great community and you can ask anything. A lot of knowledgeable, not a lot of knowledgeable people on here that follow and answer and just have great conversations all the time. So here we go. Let's keep on cruising. But just wanted to give a heads up with that because I know a couple people have messaged me and asked. So I figured a few people asked, more people are wondering. So just wanted to make that clear. And again, you don't want to be trading 100 of them. You want to lock in. And if you're brand new to this, follow a few of them, jot them down basically like I do on a piece of paper and and just handwrite them, write down them prices each day and see what you see and mark them down just as I do. I'm basically paper trading over 100 of them every day. Because there's no way I'm trading all these. I make it clear. I tell you which ones I'm excited about and then I'm going to pop into them. So and a lot of these are great setups, but who can just trade like that? You'd have to set up a bot to trade like this, and even the bots won't even maximize. We've already tried it, believe me, and that's how I know that it'll work. You can do it. It's a lot of work, and still to now these penny stocks like that, it's still tough, even with trailing stop losses and all that great stuff. Trust me, I've done them all, and yeah, I'm telling you what the best experience that I've found over 20 something years, what the safest and the most profits has been. And it's really playing the safer big caps and them ones that you're really confident in. And if they have options, obviously the bigger ones do. Doing options, and we'll discuss more of that. I was gonna try to bring more of that on this weekend or this week at the end. Obviously, I wasn't feeling well, a little better today. So hopefully I'm better tomorrow and we can keep rocking and rolling. And yeah, I'll try to explain as much as I can, but like I said, I'm not an expert at it. And I already asked my buddy Josh. I told him to put some info together for me, so I'll go over that. and try to just answer any questions that anybody might be thinking. So here we go. Let's roll through this list. YINN, the good old yin. And look at it down 604. What do we say right there? I said it was coming right down through that 20. I didn't think it was stopping at 37. Next stop is 27. Now it might get hung up on that 50 there. So, but that's $27. It's still coming down from 32 to 20 from 32 to 27. So I think, and I'm not guaranteeing you, it has that support down at 21. So you may see it come right down. It ran in that top, and we knew it was coming down. You could have put some beautiful puts on this bad boy if that's the way you play it. But then if you wanted to do the opposite and hit the yang like we had, we knew it was down here when it got down in what that 239 range. It was way low, and been saying it's going to get up there and it's going to crush through that 20, which is basically at 230, 240s in that area, somewhere's in there. Let me see if I can see it better. 243. So get over like 250, which it probably will tomorrow, and then it's going to be cruising up to that $7 mark. So you have options on that. They're going to be like lottery tickets because down here at 239, and if it runs even remotely close to that $7 area or more, it's going to be a really sweet hit right there. So, and they were very cheap and it'll be really nice. So there you go. And again, one option is 100 shares. So that's how options work. And they pay way more in the percentages of stocks. I've explained it before. I won't go into it. I'll go into it again this week a little bit more with some info. So we'll get into that. But the Yang is looking good, like we were saying. So I hope you guys been trading these two accordingly because we've been nailing them almost not almost, we've been nailing them every day. So there you go. And holy cow, that SYRS. That's that one. It's right there. It was just waiting for the 20 and 50 to move together. And I'm telling you, in the next, it has a crazy look again today that it opened and closed on the same freaking price. Holy cow. I knew it. I just knew it without even looking at it right there. Um, so yeah, it has a weird look for me, but at least mine says it opened at 199 and closed at 197. So it is a little bit different on my chart, but yeah, Finviz just knew immediately something wasn't right, but not saying it's bad. It's I think the 20 and 50 are going to come meet each other and this thing is going to start popping off. So keep an eye on it because it has a lot of room right there. SYRS, and we've been looking at it. I don't know if they released any more news. Nah, just their Q2 earnings was on October 9th. So nothing new. And it had that insider buying, but it looks really good still to this day, and we'll keep an eye on it. Obviously, I know some people have been looking at it and trading it. And so I think it's going to get popping. VCIG, now that took a turn for the worse. Looked like it was about to curl up and go crazy right there on October 11th. It was trying to, and then that 20, because that 20 was curled up there on the 11th, and as soon as we came back Monday, holy cow! And that's why it's tough to hold any of these bad boys over the weekend because Monday came in and it curled completely down and ripped it right down, crossed it down, and it's trying to get into the basement already. So VCIG definitely took a turn for the worse right there. I'm not sure what the heck happened. Let me see if I see anything. I don't really see anything from that date, and that would have been the 14th, and it just took a nosedive on Monday. So, not sure what happened with VCIG, but I'll keep an eye on it tomorrow because it looks like it wants to get into the basement, and it's probably not real healthy for this thing. So, not exactly sure, but we'll have to keep an eye on it and see what it wants to do right there. And let's take a look at ALBT. That's at Avalon Globo Care. I thought it was a fluorine, Avalon Fluorine or something. We have somewheres around here. It's a corporate company. I don't even know, but that's what I thought. I keep that every time I think of this one, I think it's a fluorine company. It's a real estate company. Avalon Globo Care. And here we go. Let's look at it because this thing has been setting up. We've liked it. It's just running right there. The 20 just came. It might even run up to that 26. I think I said it yesterday. It's probably going to run up to that 26 cent area and then trade in this channel as it sets up for the next 3 weeks. I promise you, if you pulled the clip from yesterday, I have to have said that. And so yeah, that 50 is right there, 26 something, and then it's right there. It should try to run up there tomorrow, I would think. So keep your eye on ALBT to get in between that channel and like I said, trade in between there for a little bit as it sets up and then once this thing sets up and it could be like a month out. I have no idea what's happening here, but it looks like it wants to run once it sets up big time, like have a real nice pop. So, and it'll be down. I mean, it'll have to be down here at like the 20 something cent area. So yeah, it's gonna run maybe even in the 36, but nah, it shouldn't be. It should be in the 20s popping off of there. So, but that's down the road. So watch for tomorrow to pop up to the 26 cent area and see if it wants to trade in that channel. You know, if it hits that 26, see if it hits any higher because it's going to be topping probably as it hits there and trade in between that channel. And you can trade it. SBFM Sunshine Biopharma pulled back today and that 50 is pushing it down actually. And we thought that this one they were crisscrossing, so we didn't know what it had to do. I know I marked it to take a look because I wanted to see what they were going to do, exactly what I wrote on there. And that 50's pushing it down, but it almost looks like it wanted to bottom out today at that 285. I'm not so sure. So let me take a look at this one tomorrow, SBFM, and just get a better idea because it could be trying to reverse and roll off that off that MACD. Let me pull it up on mine, SBFM, just to get a better idea. Yeah, just coming down. I think it might try to roll off of there is what it looks like. So let me take a look at that bad boy tomorrow and see what that wants to do and get a better look at it anyway, because it'll definitely give me a better look. It could have been the bottom today as it's setting up. So keep an eye, and if it's rolling off, you'll know tomorrow it's popping up there. And if it gets back up over this area right here into the $3 range, it could easily pop up. And it went up a penny, it looks like, in the after hours. Mine says 287, and this one says 296. So I don't know what to believe. So if it does get up to this area though, that's all I know is if it gets up to here, like the $3, 301, it could definitely pop. So just look for that on SBFM. And there you go for that one. And SOPA, SOPA was looking good. That Society Pass up 2 cents. And it got up to what, 98 cents. It closed right there at its high. And this one, you have your 20 and 50. Oh man, this one should pop off tomorrow. Watch this one, SOPA, SOPA. And if it can get over, if it gets up to here, it's gonna obviously pop off that dollar land. And then if it gets that momentum, which it should off of there, to get through $1.10, you're gonna get a really nice pop off of this one. So that's SOPA. So look for that one to try to pop up right there and right in that range right there, because that's what it looks like it wants to do. And that is SOPA. And let's look at that PEGY. That's our Pineapple Energy. Good old Peggy. She was looking good the other day. Now our 20's coming down for it. And our 20's at 12, and this is at 10. And I think we're going to have to wait for it. It got pushed down yesterday, and it tried to get through it. It hit it and got pushed down today, I mean. And I think we might have to wait for it to come down a little bit, unless it wants to bounce up tomorrow. Let me look on mine, see what it did in the after hours here. It could just pull back a little bit. I'll take a look at PEGY in the morning. You can't get an exact look, or at least I can't anyway at the moment. But like I said, the 20's at like almost 13 cents, and we're at say 10 and a half, and it pushed it down. So I don't know if it has to come back and meet it or if it's trying to bounce up. I'll look at it in the morning and just get a better idea of what that wants to do. That BCG though, that's at Bin Capital, however you say it. And this has been kind of pulling back. We were looking to see if it was going to bounce or cross down. That's what I wrote. And it did cross down, but it looks like it's almost in a good spot to bounce, but I don't think it will with that 20 right there. So that's BCG. And let me look. Yeah, I don't know if it's ready to bounce right there. It's trying to, but I don't think it is. So I think that 20 might come down and push it. It's a 289 and have to come down. It might cross down and go down. So I think that one might have to pull back. And that's what I was looking to see what it wanted to do. And that's what it looks like it wants to do now. So we got a better read on it today. And I think that one might have to pull back. How about our buddy Maxon cruising? And we kind of knew that one today, did we not? Saying it was going to roll off that MACD, and it looks like it's going to try to cruise up to that 789 still. So watch this one to try to keep that momentum in the morning. That's MAXN, and we've watched this one for a long time and kind of know what it's always going to do. And now here you go. It's going to run up. It should get to that 20, and like I said, right around that 780 spot. Yep, 780s. I would look for that. And it's at 625 in the after hours, 617 on mine, but regardless, right around there. And looks like it wants to continue up tomorrow. I mean, it doesn't look like any reason it shouldn't. Let's put it that way. So, unless the entire market's red, had over 1 million in volume, this should be moving back, rolling off and trying to get moving some more. And that is MAXN, and we kind of knew that was rolling. So APDN, Applied DNA Sciences. This is in that setup. We knew it was running right after it got set up right there on the 7th, and it's been pulling back. And this is one of them big fish hooks. And again, let's just exactly what I've been telling you. Yesterday, it opened at 31.3120. It's high. That was a tie. So it pulled back to 29 cents and it closed at 30. And then this morning, it opened at 0.3010, so a little over 30. That was a tie. And then it pulled back to 27, like over 27 and a half. And then it closed at that 29.21 area. So a little bit under where it opened. So like I keep telling you, you can trade these things, but just know that they're going to dip down lower than the previous day as it's hooking up, and we're just about there. Like I keep telling you, Thursday, Friday, tomorrow's Wednesday. Let's see if it can get hooked up, like just start curling a little bit, and we'll be a day out. It's right there. I mean, it's right there to get curled up to be a day out. So we're not a day out yet, but it's right there to try to be a day out. So let me keep an eye on it and I'll let you know when it's that day out and we'll get that pop off the bottom because clearly you don't want to jump in it too early because it just keeps pulling back on you. And we know that look anyway, so there would be no reason to jump in it early and watch it dip on you at this point when we know it's going to. ABVE, now that went up a little bit, down a little bit, so it wasn't anything crazy today. And another one, I think that 20 is coming down for it. It's at 56 cents, and this is at 52, and it's just riding that bottom and just kind of waiting. Let me look what it did in the after hours right here. ABVE. And yeah, I could imagine this will try to start to curl back up right here, right off that bottom. And like I said, it just has to get up a little bit more. So it has to try to, and it did it today, actually. What am I looking at? It did it today at 59. Has to get over that 56 and a half, say, and it did it today. So it's pushing the envelope, and I think it's going to try to start curling back up and moving, and that's ABVE, and it's way down there. It's not in the basement. It's just dragging that floor, so it's not looking bad. And just look for that to try to roll. ASML. I mean, this one took the most craziest dip ever off the craziest reason ever. If you don't know why it dipped hardcore, they basically posted their Q3 results on accident. They said due to a technical error, information relating to our Q3 2024 results were erroneously published earlier today on part of our website asml.com. For transparency, ASML brought forward publication of its full Q3 2024 results to October 15th. All Q3 2024 content is available on our website. They literally posted their things on accident, and the thing crashed down like over $100. It was crazy. I mean, what a mistake that was. I wonder how much money they lost. They probably lost like 1 billion. Oh, let's see if it says it real fast. I'm sure they lost a bunch of money today. Um, I'm not sure how much. I don't see it real quick, but I bet it was a big mistake because you know where it opened at 867 and it went down to 717 and it's sitting at 730 and it's at a beautiful spot to try to bounce, to be honest. So it did have its earnings. Obviously, they're going to put that out tomorrow, it looks like, or they put it out today, I mean, and they were supposed to be tomorrow and they had to push them out today because they made a mistake. So what a costly error that one was. And ASML, it's a semiconductor equipment and material company, and I would look for that bounce. So watch for that. And again, $730 company, and it opened up this morning at 867. So that's where it's at right now, and you can watch for that bounce right there because that's a crazy error. I mean, holy cow, who the heck made that error? I wonder if they still have a job because that's a costly one right there. I don't even know. I do know how you do it. I mean, but you really posted your things beforehand and tried to, I don't even know. They must have obviously posted it ahead of time and tried to set the date for like, and obviously made a mistake with the date. I guess that's what they did. And but holy cow, that's some crazy stuff right there. So SLXN's looking good though to start cruising back up. I like it. It did move a little bit today. SLXN, I was looking at a couple people asked about it, and it is looking a little better, that's for sure. So look for this one to try to get cruising back up. That 20 is all the way at 53, and this is at 30. I'm not saying it's going to fly up there, but maybe it tries to move into like the 35 area. So just look for a little bump up and see if it can get curling. If it can get curling and try to get out of the basement, it could actually run, but it has to actually get curled up there. And it could. It's in the spot where it can, and it's trying to. So keep an eye on that. We will tomorrow to see if it does want to run there. And let's look at our buddy WTO U-Time. That's a Canadian or China company, and it was up a 0.5%. And let's just look at it right here. That 20, what it do? Close and open around the same price, didn't it? Yup. And that 20 is at 45. This is at 42 and a half. And it is looking not bad right there. Tried to push it up yesterday. It's trying to. I'm telling you. Let me look at this on mine. WTO is looking decent. So let's just take a look at that EJH. And like I said, they're not even comparable, but somehow I started comparing them because they're both China companies, I guess. But this one looks like it's going to continue to pull back. Although, does it want to roll off? I don't think it does. Let me see. I mean, it looks like a false roll right there. I think it's staying down. Um, the 20 is all the way up at $1, and this is at 92, 93 cents. So I think it may just pull back a little bit and try to set up. And again, that WTO looks a little bit better. And like I said, if it can get to that 45 cent area, it could be cruising. Or if that estimate, if that 20 can come down just a little bit and start to curl, the price can get over it and then push it up, this thing will really start to pop. And it has a ton of room. I mean, nothing stopping it for a long, long time, I don't think. Let me look. WTO, what's in its way? Um, like $4. It's like there's nothing there. So I don't know where it would stop at, but it has a ton of room to go. And so all it has to do is get curled up and try to and run up to that spot. So keep an eye on it because these China ones, you know what happens. Can't guarantee it, but that's what it's looking like at the moment. And now you know what you're looking at for it. So keep an eye on that bad boy. AIEV. Let's see. It was down 2 cents, up a penny in the after hours, just kind of pulling back a little bit. And that 20 is curled down. It was curled up the other day, looking much better. Curled back down. I'll take a look at it tomorrow, see if it wants to change directions and see what it wants to do. But it was looking much better the other day, and now it's not looking as good. So I'll take a look and see if it's looking better tomorrow. That LGVN, that was up today. I know it ran up a little bit, and it is. It's looking good. It wants to run between this 194 and 214, and it should. So keep an eye on this bad boy, LGVN. I thought it did run up only to 202, but yeah, it looks pretty good to get up to that 215 area. So I would keep an eye on it. And I know we were looking at it the other day and it was down here in the 170s and now you're in the 190s. So it did run up. Just looked like it was going to try to run up a little bit more, and it possibly could tomorrow, like I said. So watch for it if it's moving, and then just watch for it to hit that 215 area. So that is LGVN, and that's what you're looking for. LCTX. Let's see. Lineage Cell Therapeutics. That one's pulling back. And I mean, this one was trying to set up perfectly right there and actually dipped down harder than it should. I wonder if something happened. Let's see. They just kind of said that was yesterday, the 14th, so nothing. They were just going to a virtual healthcare summit, nothing wild. So I don't see anything. But yeah, it definitely pulled back. So we're just gonna have to watch this one to reset up. And it got down on the 10th down to that 78 cents. I don't know if it's gonna get down that low, but it's probably gonna pull back somewhere in the lower 80s. It did bounce up a little bit in the after hours, like a penny. So let me just take a look at it and see when it wants to bounce. When it does, it's going to want to really run. And that is LCTX, and that's that Lineage Cell Therapeutics. And like I said, it has that look like it wants to try to start turning around real soon, and it's set up. So as long as it can stay up over that 84 cents and it is in the after hours and try to get moving, it's going to be safe. So that's LCTX. And let's look at that BMRA. That was down a penny. It did get up. I thought it opened at 32. It got up to 34, came back a little bit. And again, another one, nothing crazy, just jumped underneath that 20 real quick, but it was running in between there today, and this one is still in a great spot right there. So I would have to say we have to continue to keep our eye on BMRA and just look. I don't think it was anything terrible. That's that Biomerica one, and I would say that it's trying to pop off. It will have a little pop. It needs to just pop off this 20 right here at 32 where it's sitting and then get up to that 34 and a half, over 34 and a half, and then it can get cruising. So BMRA is Biomerica, and it is right there. I mean, I would keep an eye on that one as well because it's sitting right there in the right spot. QNRX, let's look at that. That one is, oh, that 20 came down for it. It's like buried in it. I can't even tell what it wants to do. Let me look at mine real fast. QNRX. Just kind of running flat. Let me actually look over here. I haven't even pulled up the stock charts yet, and just kind of pulling back a little bit at the moment. Nothing too crazy there. Let's just see what it can do tomorrow. It's giving me a really hard look. It's going up and pulling back, and then I can't even see where the 20 is. It's buried in the candles, and I don't even see what it wants to do on mine. It's just running flat. So I'll have to take a look at that one. I really can't even tell you. It would just be a real guess right there. So I don't want to guess. I'll look at it and we'll know what it's going to do. We already did VEV. DATS, let's look at that chat. It was down 8 cents, and another one just set up in a perfect spot. It did run up today. So it opened at 133. It got to 155. So DATS did run. We thought it was going to. I was going to say that didn't start moving, but it did pop up today. And 141 to 155. Its low is 123. It's at 126. So it did run up. And let's see what it wants to do. It's just kind of pulling back. I don't think it's done. So we'll keep an eye on it. And I don't know how much lower it's going to pull back there because, I mean, you have hard support way down at $1, and I don't think it wants to get down there. I think we're going to see a little bounce. So keep your eye on DATS to try to get moving again. What to have under 1 million in volume, 678,000. So we'll keep an eye on that one and see if it wants to stay set up and it can really bounce off of there, or if it's going to pull back and then try to set up for like 3 weeks down the road. So that's DATS, ADTX. Let's look at that one. That was a splitter not too long ago. Oh, this one ran today as well. And we looked at it yesterday. It had over 18 million in volume, and it's just curling up. It's in the basement, and it just kind of had that weird look yesterday. I have no idea what I said about it. Opened at 110, it went up to 186, and it's sitting at 119. It says, let me look at it on mine, ADTX just to get a better idea here. Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty solid to continue up tomorrow, and it did. It ran up to 186 today. I have no idea what we said yesterday, but it is way at the bottom. It's in the basement. It was a splitter and it never really ran up. I mean, barely ran up on that fourth. And then what it split on the third, so on the second. So it really never ran. And then today it tried to and still did. And then it's not even that, it's just running flat in the basement. So I'm not exactly sure, but it looks much better, I'll tell you that. So watch that one in the morning to try to continue its way up. ADTX, and that one looking pretty nice. Let's look at that KTRA. I noticed that one trying to run up today, and I was like, "Oh, that one's rolling off, huh?" And setting up pretty nice. So keep an eye on this bad boy. It opened up at 18, just under 19 cents, got up to almost 24, and it's sitting at 22 cents. And KTRA not looking bad at all. So watch this one if it can try to run up tomorrow and get up into that 29-cent area, keep that momentum. So it looks pretty good to try to. So you can keep your eye on KTRA. That's one that we used to look at, and it was trying to set up and looking decent. Caught my eye today. CTNT, the old cheetah. I was just curious if it was trying to get moving because I took a peek at it today, and it was right there where it could have just like been trying to roll off, set up. Not sure what it wanted to do, so I wanted to go over it tonight. And I'll tell you what, the 20 is right there just above it. I mean, and actually, it probably got over it in the after hours. Let me look at it real quick. So hold on, let me see what CTN I did. That's why I wanted to look at it. Oh yeah, it's beautiful for tomorrow. CTNT, that's what I thought it was going to look like. So I'm looking at FinViz, and it's not. I would look at CTNT tomorrow, guys, because it's looking really nice for the cheetah to get running. So that's why I added it to the list. Caught my eye today again, and I was like, "Ooh, that looks like it's trying to set back up. Let's look at it tonight and see how it closes." And I think you have a runner for tomorrow. It ran up like almost 7% in the after hours, it says so, or at least 4.5. I'm not exactly sure. They all say something different, so I can't exactly tell you. Um, Unfortunately, CTNT. Let's see what this says. After hours, this went up 5.77 on Webbull, and that's what mine. None of them say the same thing, so it doesn't matter. I would just say that it looks really good for tomorrow, and that's what CTNT looks like. The cheetah looks like it wants to run again. Roblox RBLX was down 3 cents. And this guy's setting up to be bullish. We're just watching it to see where that bottom is. I don't think it's getting down to that 37.50 again like it did on the 8th. And its earnings are coming up next week. Or no, they're on Halloween. I thought they were next week. I'm sorry. Their earnings are on Halloween for Roblox. That's cool. So have a costume party for their earnings report. So there you go. But honestly, let's look at it and see what it wants to do. It's just pulling back down there. And let me try to get a better look at Roblox. I think we're just going to watch it kind of set up for the next few weeks down here, to be honest with you. So, yeah, the 20's coming down. I think that's going to, it needs to sit right here around that $41 area for it to try to do anything. So, let's see if it wants to pull back and has that hard support at 38. And I'll have to look at it tomorrow to try to get a better look at Roblox just to see what it wants to do and which direction, or if it wants to continue to set up or try to move. I'll take a look at it. TRNR, interactive strength. I wanted to look at this just to see if it was trying to pull back some, and it is. And so that 20 is just sitting there at 17. We're going to wait for it to come down. And that is TRNR. And that's why I was looking at that when I had it marked to just take a peek. Maybe it tried in the bottom. I don't think so. It has that look. It got down to what, 11 and a half today, and it's back to 12, but it could be pulling back some more right there. So that's TRNR, and I'll take a look at it tomorrow just to see what direction that one wants to go again. And I wrote QNRX down twice. SPRC, let's see it up 2%, down a little bit in the after hours, but this bad boy's starting to set up. I was gonna say, didn't this get moving? Because I had it on my list and it got up to 24 cents. Let me look and see if it got up a little higher in the after hours. 24 cents is what it got up to, but I thought it was moving at one point, and I don't remember if it was in the market or in the after hours, but it had over 1 million in volume, and it jumped up. I know we were looking at it for the last few days, and it got up over that 20, and it looks pretty good to continue its way up. It looks pretty solid. So keep your eye on it. And it is that Israel Biotech company, and we've been looking at it. And it does look like it wants to try to move right there. So you can look at that in the morning and see if it wants to continue. And that 20, like I said, is at like 20, say 24 cents it wants to get to really bounce off. It got over it today. I mean, technically, if it gets to like the low or the high 23s, you'll be all right, but you really want it in the 24s and it can bounce. So that's SPRC. And again, looking solid to me. So that one we've gone over, that Israeli biotech, and it's looking good. Speaking of them, I have the actual Israeli aerospace and defense on here, so we're about to go over them in a few minutes. So we're gonna look at that. Let's look at XXII. I know it's like a tobacco company. They do cannabis stuff. 22nd Century Group. I remember we were looking at this the other, not the other day, but it was probably yeah September, and it had run up that one day. It popped up there. We were looking at it and it was curled up looking good. And now it's been pulling back. It's in the basement. And I think it might just have to go down a little bit. So XXII, let me see. Not curled through on mine just yet. It looks like it's coming down to it. So I'll have to look at this to see if it wants to try to roll off tomorrow for XXII. So let me take a peek at that and see what it wants to do. It's not really giving me a clear indication, and I'm looking at both of them, and I just can't really tell at that angle. If I had to guess, it might. I can't even guess, to be honest. It's pulling back in the basement. It shouldn't want to go down any further, but it looks like it wants to. So I'll look at it tomorrow and get a better idea for sure. And I believe that's the next one, or what I have. Oh, SVER. So we'll call that one sure. SVRE. For sure. But it's SVRE. That's Saver one. And let's see. It went down to the basement today. It actually pulled back. That 20's coming down on it. And that's at 14 cents. And it came up in the after hours. That could have been its bottom today. So keep your eye on SVRE. Could pull back a little bit more tomorrow, but not looking bad right there to try to get set up. So we'll keep our eye if it wants to pull back a little more. I'm gonna mark this one and take a look at it because I want to see if it's right there. It's right at the bottom. It's either getting into the basement or trying to start that bounce off. So you know what you're looking at SVRE, and it's right there. And like I said, it gets over like 14.1430, it can actually start moving, maybe closer to 14 and a half cents. But yeah, it could really pop off right there. So that's what you're looking for a good old Saver 12014 LTD ADR, whatever the heck that means. It's a technology company in Israel. So take a look at that. We did our JDZG earlier because that one was on our list before and popped up. And like I said, that could be your momentum play in the morning and keep that momentum. So that was JDZG, and that was on a list a little bit ago, not long ago, and it did pop like crazy. So let's look at MU, good old Micron technology, and see how that reacted to that good old ASML, because this is a semiconductor company, and ASML is a semiconductor equipment company or something, whatever it does. What the heck did they do? I said it. ASML, semiconductor equipment company. There you go. So let's look at good old MU and see what they're up to. It was down $4 today, and it was trying to get popping, and obviously that didn't help, but just a little healthy pullback in my eyes. I don't think it's anything crazy, just a mishap, to be honest with you, and everything pulled back from it. So I think you're going to catch some good pricing. Could have pulled back a little more to the $100 range. It could, and then it can pop off that line and the 20. So watch MU if it wants to pull back into the $100 range, and it also could try to pop off tomorrow. So you know if it's got momentum and it's moving, it's popping, and if it doesn't, then it might pull back to your $100 range to get set up and run. So that's like I said, it's a reaction to a mistake. So and it was a crazy mistake. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't like I was saying that's a wild or costly mistake right there because LRCX Lam Research is another semiconductor equipment company, and that was down $9.34. And that opened at 85.79 and came way down to 75.91. And it's at 76.50 in the after hours. But that one's a really nice dip and coming down to that line. And another one just kind of looked good and could be a reaction to that mistake. They have earnings on October 23rd, so that's probably what next weekish, I would think. I don't even know today. Yeah, that's next Wednesday, I believe. So they do have earnings next Wednesday. And yeah, it just kind of looks like it's pulling back to that line and could bounce off. If it crosses through, it's coming down to the 72.50 area and then it'll set up. So that's LRCX and another semiconductor equipment company. And after ASML, they took a nice little nosedive today. I guess people were selling them off because I don't, maybe they didn't know what happened. I have no idea. But again, costly error right there. You don't post your earnings before they're due. Especially, I didn't even look if they were good or not. But if they're bad, holy cow, you're definitely getting smoked. So maybe that's what happened. We never even looked. But I played a bounce on ASML and a couple of these other ones. See if this one wants to bounce tomorrow, LRCX, or if it's going to cross through that line. It's coming down on pretty hard right there. LRCX. I'm looking at it on mine. Yeah, it's coming down pretty hard, but could easily bounce off. And again, it's a mistake. It wasn't, I mean, it was something crazy, but it wasn't really anything that bad considering like the company didn't burn down or anything. They just posted their earnings a day early. So it's, it's a costly mistake, but it's not the end of the world. I think by next week, people will forget it even happened. So it wasn't something major. LRCX. So that's why I was like, I wonder if that person gets fired because again, it cost a bunch of money today. The stock dips down, but maybe the CEO wanted to get it at a good price, so maybe it worked out in his favor. Who the hell knows? So, and that was ASML that dipped hard. And let's look at GRI. This one was starting to try to set up again, I believe. I was looking at it today. That 20's coming down. It's at 40 cents. This is at 30, and it's trying to curl up right there. So keep your eye on that GRI. I know it's been on our list before, and it does look pretty good. See if it can get back up, like I said, to 40 cents, 40 and a half. It's at 39 and a half in the after hours. So it's not far off of it from 40 and a half, like a penny off and this bad boy can get cruising and the next stop's like 46 and a half. So GRI is trying to get set up right there. You can keep your eye on that. SXTC, I know that's a China company. It's called China SXT Pharmaceuticals. And this thing looks like it wants to make that hard curl up tomorrow. It started to catch momentum, got to the 20, and I would assume it gets to 65 cents. It's popping. So keep your eyes on this bad boy tomorrow morning as well. SXTC is looking really good for the morning. I would say it's a solid play. It looks like it's going to bounce up off that 65 and get cruising to the 20, which is at 74-ish, and could even cruise right through it the way it looks. So keep an eye on that bad boy and see if it gets crossed through and just rolls. So that's SXTC. And that is a China company. And how about Penn? I added a couple, I think, after I set them out. So here we go with PENN. Let's look at that one. Penn Entertainment, because it caught my eye. And I said, this one's starting to look pretty good. It's way down here. Tried to curl up multiple times and it is setting up. 20 is going to come down at $18 and something. It's 18.89. We're at 18.51, and it is setting up. Just give it like a week or two, and should be looking pretty good. But it should start to move, and you can probably play them bounces pretty well because once it gets up to this 18.92 or 18.95, almost $19 range, it's going to want to start popping up. And it could stay in that channel like in between the 19 and $20 range, but it is going to set up and Penn is looking pretty good, I guess, as football season. You're going to see this bad boy get into like the 24s and it's at 18 right now. So it is setting up to be bullish right there for Penn, PENN. Does Portnoy still own that? I don't even remember. I know he did or something. I forget. So I'm not exactly sure. And there you go with PENN. So that's Penn. And let's cruise through the rest of these bad boys real quick, and then I'll look at the messages. So let me know if you guys want to see anything, and we'll just keep on cruising right here. ALZN. That is, and this I believe is Laptop Travels list right here. And that one popped up today to $1.90, it looks like, but still has that crazy look, honestly. ALZN. Not sure if we looked at it last night, don't really remember, but doesn't look bad after it ran up to a 190, opened at 167, and it closed at 169 right there. So it's not looking terrible, and that 20 sitting at 165. It's like right there. So I can't even really tell what it wants to do. Watch it if it's moving tomorrow. It's a momentum play for you. It's just hard to get a grip on it tonight. CHRO, that is up 6 cents today, and that one's setting up, and honestly, that could pop right off of that 72 area, get up to that 78 and blast through it. So watch this one for tomorrow. Just cross through and it's sitting on the 20. This one could be a really good one for the morning. What I have in volume, 83,000, but I'll tell you what, this thing could get moving. So keep your eye on CHRO in the morning. CMAX, is that CarMax? CareMax instead, not CarMax. It's CareMax, a health company, health information services. So it is not CarMax. I don't even know what that is. Maybe it's Max, but this one, C-Max, is looking really good for tomorrow. Keep your eye on this bad boy to try to get to that 250 area. So that one's looking nice to set up. It's at 195 in the after hours. It did run up 24 cents today, but it looks like it has some pretty solid momentum. EQ, I remember we looked at this probably a while back now. And I remember it was on one of the lists here. And this thing is curling back down to the lines. Maybe this one comes back down to that 75 cent area. It's hard to get an idea if it's going to try to roll off. It kind of appears it wants to, but I'm not sure exactly. So I might have to look at EQ tomorrow. My chart looks a little bit better for it to go up, but I'm still not 100% sure. So EQ, if it's curled up tomorrow, it's going to try to run. So it'll be a nice little bounce play right there, right off that MACD if it's curling up and running. So that's EQ, and that's what you're looking for on that. FLYE, that was down 4 cents. That's that Fly E group, and it had run up there, and it just basically came back down to the 20. I guess we're gonna have to watch to see if it actually pulls back more tomorrow. Almost looks like it might. Let me look at it on mine. FLYE. Yeah, it's hard to tell. I'd have to look at this one tomorrow as well. So let me just say tomorrow. GWAV. I know we were looking at this like a week or so again. Isn't this that trash can company or waste management? That's what it is. Green Wave Technology, waste management. I was trying to think of it. There you go. It popped up today to that 44 cents, opened at 40. We were looking at it the other day, so it was probably in the 38s to 40, maybe to 37. I don't remember exactly, but it did run up a little bit, and it looks like it wants to keep that momentum. We were looking at it. It was looking pretty solid whenever we were looking like a week or so ago, and it still looks pretty solid to try to continue up. So keep your eye on that. And again, if it can get up there over that 44 cent area, it'll be way better. It's down in the 41s. So watch it again. If it can get over that 44 and stick it there, it can get popping some more. And that's GWAV, and that's Green Wave Technology. And let's take a look at, I just lost my place. There we go, IXHL. Oh, this is a good one. This is an Australia drug manufacturer, and this one's setting up to be a popper right there. It's in the right spot. It was jumping up today, got up to $1.93, opened at $1.64, and it closed at $1.79, but it's up to $1.82. It's crossing through tomorrow. I mean, it's hooked up there pretty nice. And that's IXHL. And yeah, it's hitting that line solid, and it should keep that momentum tomorrow. So I would keep an eye on this one to try to run up. I can't even tell where it wants to get to be honest with you. There's really nothing in its way that I can even see. I mean, it's not going to run that crazy, but it could run up into the 280s. It could go up $1 if it gets moving tomorrow. So keep your eye on that bad boy. And I mean, even if it gets it's not a whole lot in its room, and it looks like it has momentum. So, and this thing was up there. I remember beginning of the year, maybe. Let's look at March. It was up at 847 as its high. So It has some room to move, IXHL. I can tell you that right now. So I saw that pop up, and that was on Laptop Travels today. And LIPO, that Lapella Pharmaceuticals we looked at, this one kind of ran up a little bit today. It opened at 47 and a half. Oh, it just got up to 48. I thought it actually ran up and came down more than it did anything. Came down to 43, but it is at about 43, or it came down to 38, and then it's at 43 in the after hours, but still looking good. I mean, it wants to cross through right there and kind of run some more. So I'm not sure if it actually does. This one says 65. Did it run up in the after hours? Maybe that's what I saw. It got up to 65, this said, and it's the lowest 38 on mine. So actually, mine is giving it that look like it bounced off that line and it's coming down. So I would assume it might dip tomorrow. I'll keep an eye on it in the morning because the FinViz isn't giving me the perfect setup. It's not set up obviously in the after hours like mine is, but mine's saying it wants to come down. So we'll have to look at that and see if it does want to pop down there and be dipping. MYNZ, let's look at that down 3 cents. That one actually pulled back today as well. And it was kind of pulling back the last couple days, I guess, but it almost looks like it wants to pull back a little bit more and then get rolling. Our 20s right here at 26 range, and it came off of that 31 and came down to it. So it got down to 24 today, and I think you might see some pullback on this MYNZ. So this might have to pull back a little bit. Let me look. MYNZ. Oh, MYNZ. Here we go. Yeah, this might have to come back to the line and just dip a little bit more. I'll look at that tomorrow and see what it wants to do. NNVC, let's look at that one real quick. Here we go, up 7. Oh, this one looks great. NNVC could be a nice popper for tomorrow as well, so keep an eye on that one. It's at 150 right now, and it's looking pretty solid, NNVC, so let's just look at it. Yeah, that one looks real good to try to run up. Only had 135 in volume, 135,000, I mean, but it is looking solid right there. NNVC. Let's look at NUWE. NUWE, we looked at this last night. It was up 6 cents. And this one has them all kinds of bounces. And I'm pretty sure I was saying just watch if it can bounce back up. And it is. It does. It bounces a lot, this bad boy. NUWE. NUWE. And it is trying to bounce back up. Watch for it to get back to that 156. It's at 147 in the after hours, and it could get booming off of that area, that 156. So keep your eye at 154 even, right in that range, and it can get moving. So if it can get curled up in momentum tomorrow, it can get cruising. NUWE. And let's look at NU and NXU. All these N and U's throwing me off. NXU. Let's look at that, down 2%, down another percent in the after hours. Just came right back down to that 20. Nothing bad right there. Let me look at mine and XU and see what it looks like. Opened at 26, came down to 24. It's at 25. Doesn't look terrible, just a little healthy pullback. So I'll look at that tomorrow as well. Doesn't look terrible, I'll tell you that. Could try to set up and get bounce in there. So I'll watch that one. NXU, it's NXU Inc. Let's look at Silo Pharma. That's up 11 cents right there. And this one looks really good to try to bounce up, get through that momentum through 118 tomorrow, and it's rolling. So keep your eyes on Silo, because that one's looking solid with some momentum right there. SLRX. Um, this one ran up today, as a matter of fact, and is looking pretty good. It ran up almost to its to that 229. Let me take a peek. SLRX 229. It ran up to. Not sure if we already did this one, but let's do it again. SLRX, I don't think so. Yeah, it just bounced off that line today, so it should try to keep that momentum, but I'm not exactly sure. It had a lot of, it spiked up pretty hard with not a lot of momentum to keep. So that 243 is its resistance, and it got to 229. It got up higher. Yeah, 229 was its high. So you'd have to look at this in the morning, and it could easily turn and come back down. Not saying it definitely will. It could be a little momentum play in the morning as well. So just keep an eye on that SLRX if you like it and see if it wants to continue that momentum, but it's hard to tell off of that bounce today. Let's look at WISA, WISA, and that's a semiconductor company. And this one is starting to crawl through and look better. The 20's right there, and it's setting up super bullish. I might have to take a look at this guy tomorrow for sure. WISA looks like that semiconductor company wants to start moving. So keep an eye on that one, WISA, because that's looking really good right now, I must say. So I will look at that one in the morning because it wants to pop. So keep an eye on it. WISA and XLO right here, up 2 cents. And it is trying to get cruising. So watch XLO as well. We looked at it yesterday and it's at 82 cents. And that one looks like it wants to roll. And that is our laptop list right there. So thank you very much, Laptop Travel. And let's look at a few others that were added on after the fact that I think I posted this out. I don't remember, but here we go. NVDL. I don't even remember where it came. This is the NVIDIA long one. I think actually Laptop Travel might have sent a couple of these ETFs to me as well, but let's look at this bad boy. NVDL, and then we always looked at NVD too, but that one was going up today. That was the opposite. Let's look at that NVDL. NVDL. Well, NVDL. I was on it. All right, so this is the Grand Shares 2 times long NVDA daily ETF, and it is coming back. I mean, it's got to pull back here into the 60s, probably that 61 area, and then it'll set up again to be bullish. So I don't think it's at the end of the world for it. NVIDIA and most of these bad boys, and we're going to be going through them in a minute. So we'll check them guys out anyway. So here we go. AAPB, I believe that is. And that's the Apple long. And this one isn't a good spot to try to run up. Has a weird look, but it is bullish. So just wait and see if it has any pullback right there. But the Apple one's super bullish as well. And GGLL is the Google Bull one. And this one looks like it's ready to pop off right at that spot right there. So it got up in the right spot and looks like it wants to roll off. And that one looks real good at the moment. So GGLL, and this looks like it wants to run at the moment. So let's look at AGFY. I think I just added these guys for somebody. Agrify was up 10 cents. It recently split on October 8th and it ran up on the 9th. So is it trying to run back up? That's the question. And let me look at AGFY. Here we go. And I'm not exactly sure it's ready to start cruising back right yet, but I'll keep an eye on it tomorrow to see if it's trying to actually crawl off that bottom. It's down there, but I'm not exactly sure. Its low was 271 on that October 11th, and maybe it is trying to bounce off. I'll have to look at AGFY Agrify in the morning just to get a better look. It's trying to curl but pull back at the same time. So it's just giving me a throw off look, and I'll take a look at that one. AISP, let's look at Airship AI Holdings. That's down 4 cents right there, and up to the 20's coming down for it. It's at 226. So just let this kind of set up a little bit. I don't think it's just ready. It's not ready just yet. So we'll keep an eye on that. UAVS. Let's look at, or what is it? Yeah, I thought that was UAVS. Let me look. Is that what it is? Am I off? UAVS. Yeah, Eagle. Okay, it's a Amex one, so it's basically just on the stock charts in mine. Let me take a look and pull it up on me. A UAVS. There we go. AG Eagle Aerial Systems. That one ran up the last few days. I don't think I would be messing with that one at the moment. And hold on, something's not right here because the charts are way off. Let me see what days these are. Today's October 15th, so that's that. And this says October 5th. I have no idea what's up with this. They're both telling me something different. I don't know what the price is at. Is it at 263, 269. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure on this one because the charts are like totally different. I'll tell you what mine says. Mine says on this bad boy, it opened at 450 and it came down to 220 and it's at 263. I don't know how accurate that is at the moment, but yesterday it ran up from like 12 cents to 482. I'm not sure. So I'm gonna have to look at that and see what's going on. I'm not exactly sure on um what is it, UAVS. So I remember that used to trade normally, but it's now an Amex one, so it went like almost OTC or whatever. So there you go with that. I'll have to look at that one again. And what SRFM is that? Yep. Surf Air Mobility. And let's look at this bad boy. I think we looked at this not long ago. It did run up there on October 10th to 359. Now it's pulling back. Let it come back to this area right here on the 166 and try to reset up. It is trying to set up bullish up here, but we got to see if it actually is bullish. So we'll have to watch it set up right there, SRFM. And that is your Surf Air Mobility. And let's look at the Israeli aerospace and defense. There's only four of them bad boys, and then we'll go through crypto, big caps, and our Mag 7 real quick and see what's popping and looking good there. So our Israeli aerospace and defense, GAUZ, it was up 32 cents. It's at 982. And it looks like it's trying to get running. It's been running up the last few days there. And it could easily pop off that 978. And it closed at 982 and went down to 965. But let me look at it, GAUZ. And yeah, it looks pretty solid to try to run up some more tomorrow. So keep an eye on that one. Let's look at the rest of these, TATT. That one's just getting set up, and it was about to get set up and kind of pull back a little bit, like it needed to make some room for some crazy reason. But this one's setting up to be super bullish down the road, just has some weird looks, doesn't know what to do. So let me just look at that one. Let me take a look at it. Hold on. TATT on here. Yeah, just running that line, just getting ready to curl through, and it wasn't ready. So something wasn't ready for it to pop off yet. PRZO. Let's look at that. Pulling back a little bit. And so that one's going to get set up, probably pull back here to 60 cents. It's at 66. So that one's going to pull back. Nothing too crazy there. And ESLT down $1.28. This one had run up into the top. It's setting up bullish, but it does need to make some space. So let it pull back to the 200 area. It's at 205 in the after hours, it says. And then that can get set up. So nothing real crazy there, which is a good thing. So we do like that. Let me take a quick peek at crypto on my app real fast and see what they're looking like. Bitcoin $67,323. Looking beautiful, hon. I love it. Said it was going over that 66. It definitely did, and it just keeps on cruising up. Looking good there. Ethereum's 2,624. And let's look at it because that one was trying to hit the 100. It is hitting it and has a little weird look. So we'll have to see how that sets up in the morning, or I'll look at it tonight again. Solana 154. And that one has that weird look, like it ran up and it was trying to just pull back. It could just be healthy because they smashing up, going through so fast and just smashing through like the 100. Cardano, 35 cents, has that little pullback look as it's hitting that 100 and trying to get through it. Doge over 11 and a half. And Doge just wants to keep on running, it looks like. So that's what Doge looks like at the moment. Let's look at Ripple at 54 cents and see what that's up to. And that one's trying to get back up to the 50 and 100 and curl through. It's just struggling right now, but it should, I would think, in the morning. And let's look at our buddy Bonk and see what Bonk is up to. And I have to look up that one that Laptop Travel was talking about, and that was WIFUSD. But Bonk was over to 100 and has that weird look and is trying to, it is crossed through, just trying to pull back, but I don't think anything crazy. And WYF USD is at 266. And let me take a peek at it. and it is just flat right there coming down. I can't tell if it wants to stay up there or come down laptop travel. It's a hard look for me, and trying to figure it out. We'll have to look when it hits that MACD line and see if it actually wants to bounce. And also, I believe the World Liberty, them coins are available today is at that Donald Trump thing. So you can take a look at that as well. And that's at World Liberty. Let me take a look at what you guys want to see real quick. And I will go through them and then we'll go through the old big caps and all real fast. So here we go. Let me take a quick peek and see what we're looking at. GOSS. Let's look at that one real fast for Eric. We were looking at this last week. I remember it was pulling back a little bit. That 50 is going to crawl up and catch it now, and the 20 will push it up there. So I could see that trying to get moving again tomorrow, GOSS. So yeah, I would look for that to try to crawl back up right there, Eric. That one looks pretty decent. SXTC looks really good. We already did it. And that one looks like it's about to make that hard crawl up and pop. So that one looks already really good. I mean, we already did it, so that one looks great. I already know. GSIW, let's look at that one. I know we were looking at it last week. Garden Stage, that Hong Kong company had taken that big dip. And let's just see, it's down there. Has a weird look. 193. It's at 161 right now and kind of pulling back in the after hours. Let me pull it up on mine. I know it looked great. It looked way better last week, I'll tell you that. Right now it is 157, still over there, just a little healthy pullback. I mean, it doesn't look like anything crazy to be honest with you, and it has really good support down there in the 120. So even I guess if it has to pull back that GSIW, it could still get set up and get moving again. So we'll keep an eye on it. I know we did. Let me just look at it on here, GSIW on stock charts, see if I get a better read. Of course not. It does look like it wants to pull back, so I'll look at that one and just see what it wants to do. KITT, I know we were looking at this before. It's at aerospace and defense. And let's just see, it's trying to get cruising. It was trying to move, just a little healthy pullback. That 20's coming for it. It's at 142. We're at 133 right here. And let me just look at KITT. I mean, just a little healthy pullback. Don't look like anything crazy to me. And it should try to get over that 20, which I said is at 142. So watch for that on KITT, and then it could get moving. And NKLA, let's look at that up a penny at 425 and just coming down to the line. You should have a roll off on this one. And the 20's at 468. I could see NKLA rolling off and running. Let me look at it on mine. Yeah, I could definitely see that right there in KLA. I could see that happening. I'll look at it in the morning and see if we're right about it, but it does look like it's trying to, and it looks like Monday at 415 was probably its low. So I would assume it's trying to roll off right there is what it looks like at the moment, and I'll take a look at that one better for you, Sean. So I hope that helped out. CRKN, let's look at that one. I know that one was a popular one before. Crown Electrokinetics Corp. And that one's pulling back. It ran up the other day on the 10th up to that, what, 187, maybe a little higher in the after hours. And now you're just going to try to get between that channel of 122 and probably that 152. It's at 133 right now. It's trying to build a base. Let me look at it on mine, see if it's got a better look at all. I mean, just some healthy pullback, nothing real crazy. It don't look like. And like I said, your 20's trying to crawl up at 123. So it may have to pull back a little bit and meet it around like 130, 129-ish, and then try to get moving. So just watch this one to set up the next day or so, CRKN, and then we can I'll look at it again some more. Let me jot it down. CRKN. Because it is like right there where it can, like I said, it can easily set up or just be basing out there. So I'll look at that one, CRKN, and that's Dooku 000 SVRE. Let me take a quick peek at you. Is that Saver one? That's Saver one. We just did that. We're watching for it to see if it wants to bounce off that bottom. It looks like today could have been its bottom right there, like that 12 cent area, 0.1229. So we're gonna watch for that one to try to bounce tomorrow. I went over that one a little bit ago. Um, Joe P, how are you this evening? He has a few. Let's look at them. TALK. Well, let me write it in there, right? Talk space. And that one's moving. That's talking to us right now. And that one should run up in the top tomorrow and try to have some momentum up there. So I would watch for that as a momentum play to get into the top and try to run tomorrow. Good old talk. TGTX. Let's see what that one wants to do. TGTX. Here we go. TG Therapeutics up $1.74, a little more in the after hours. This one's curling through real nice with the 20 and everything. This one looks super sweet. TGTX. I would say that one looks good to try to continue some momentum up in the morning. So that one looks really solid as well. I would definitely keep an eye on that in the morning. And let's see, TYRA. Let's see. TYRA is Tyra Biosciences up 244, and that one's curling through. This one may just hit up here at that 25 area and have to pull back. So we'll keep an eye on it. But if it does, it'll set up to be kind of bullish. So I'll keep an eye on Tyra and see what that wants to do. CELH, right? CELH, yeah. Celius Holdings down 66. And again, just building that base there on that 20 rolling up. I think this one's going to try to set up and get moving. Had over almost 15 million in volume. CELH. And yeah, just a little healthy pullback, it looks like to me, and trying to set back up. So that one looks decent. And VSTM. VSTM. Here we go. Veristem. We were looking at this the other day, I remember, and this one's starting to cruise. So keep your eye on this one tomorrow morning as well. VSTM, because that one's looking good as well. And there you go, Joe P. I hope that helps you. And and dude said his girlfriend gets mad when he sets his alarm at 4 a.m., but he wakes up anyway between 4 and 5. Yeah, it's I'm telling you, them web bowlers, if you're trading these penny stocks or the low end ones, the low cappers, they're just running on web bull. I mean, at 4 a.m. they're crazy. By 7 a.m. they're already pulled back. But I get it. I mean, 4 a.m. is early to be setting alarms off, and I totally get that. But sometimes you just got to get up and do it, right? So, dude don't care, and he's doing it, and I'll be doing it with you guys. Trust me. LGHL. I read that one before Peninsula Life was in that. SMCI. Let's look at that and your CLSK, Luis Rodriguez. I'm gonna go through them bad boys. And that JDZG was Peninsula Life mentioned that today. It did pop up. We went over that one. So we'll go through our big caps real quick, roll through them guys, and I hope everybody had a great day right here. And there was plenty of them popping. And let's take a look at ZJYL from John Wong. And then we're going to get to all the other big caps. Luis Rodriguez will knock those guys out. You know, we'll pop right through them. So we will hit them in 2 seconds practically. And let me try to type this one in. ZJYL. Okay, John Wong had me thrown for a loop with them letters, but it is a China one. Jin Medical International. Down 4 cents, but setting up really nice right there. I almost say let it pull back a little bit, John. And yeah, I think it's trying to build a base right here. Let me take a better look at it. Try to type these letters in again. ZJYL. All right, here we go. And let me just blow it up here. Yeah, I think it's bouncing down off that MACD. And I think it's just going to set up. It looks like it's trying to set up for like maybe a week or two out, 2 or 3 weeks, between a week and 3 weeks. And then it'll really get set up to try to run. So that's at ZJYL for John Wong. And that's what it looks like right there. No problem, Eric. And here we go. DQ threw a link up for a news thing, and it is about LP. So I'll just, oh, it's about Nubaru, huh? Let me just look. LP, a premier multi-strategy fund specializing in blah 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 blah, is pleased to announce the finalization of $100 million equity line of credit with Crown. Oh, this is for CRKN. So, well, that's pretty nice. Let's look at that one again. I forgot what it looked like that fast, but CRKN, they just got a whole lot of equity, it looks like. Let me look. Today, yeah, 100 they finalized $100 million equity line of credit with Crown Electrokinetics Corp, building on strategic recapitalization efforts, and separately some. And then let's see what it's doing. Pull yeah, I mean it looks like it wants to pull back to here to that 123 and then get set up. So we'll keep an eye on it to pull back just a hair and then get set up to move off of that news. And they don't always necessarily have to pop off. You know what? It popped before the news even happened. It was and generally they do. And that was the 10th. So they already knew that shit was going down on the 10th and it popped up and now it's they're just selling it on the news. People will buy in, let it pull back a little bit, set up a little better, CRKN, and then boom, it can get popping because that 20 will curl up and nail it. So there you go with that bad boy. And let's hit our big caps real quick because I know Luis Rodriguez wants to see a couple of these bad boys. So here we go. Let's rock and roll and look at GameStop. Was looking good this morning early. And then I saw it did close down. It opened at 21.45, got up to 21.68. It came down to 20.98. But it's hitting that line tomorrow and going through, I think. So should be a pretty solid day for GameStop, unless it really has to set up again. But I can't imagine this thing's going to pull through. So I think GameStop's about to start trying to run here. And let's look at AMC. 415, and I think that was our bottom. Yeah, AMC. Remember, I said last night to look for them options. I think you were at our bottom right here, and I think that's going to start to get moving there. And of course, let's look at CHWY. That was the other one Roaring Kitty liked, and this one looks like it's about to set up and blast the hell off and get up to that $34 area. So I think all your meme stocks are about to start rolling, guys. Now let's look at our SPY. SPY. It was down $4 today. And like I said, it needs to make some room. It should come back down to that 575. And it's setting up to be so bullish. It's ridiculous. So, and it has plenty of supports underneath it. It's got like 10 of them. So I ain't worrying about that. So let it come down a little bit more. And then these bad boys are going to set up and get cruising. And let's look at our Apple. That was up 255, pulled back a little bit, and it's right in between. I mean, it should run up tomorrow, but it is going to have to pull back there. So I would be careful on it and look for it to come to like that 227 area first and then get set up on Apple. But it is going to set up and run. Google, it's right there in that spot where it looks like it wants to roll off tomorrow and get popping. I wonder if anything happened with Google's nuclear deal points to a promising new group of stocks. I have no idea what that even is, but and then Trump says he won't break up Google. So there you go at 6:40 p.m. And I'm telling you, it looks really good. What the heck's this nuclear deal thing? Google signed a deal to power data centers with nuclear micro reactors from Carios, but the 2030 timeline is very optimistic. So yeah, Google, I'm telling you, it looked like it wants to pop and roll off of there. So that's Google probably looking the better one tomorrow already. Amazon, that one's touching there and trying to get cruising. We'll have to look at it. It has that weird look and kind of looks like it wants to start crossing through that line to move up again. So Amazon's looking pretty bullish again. Meta came back down. I told you it had to. It's down to 586, 585. What did I say? Come down to 575. So at least. And so there you go. Meta's pulling back for us. And we knew it would. Microsoft right there. That was down 40 cents. It's at 418. But I'm telling you what, Microsoft's about to get blasting off. It's curling up hardcore and it's looking pretty good. So today would have been a little healthy pullback. and that's looking good. And I was looking at the options on that. So just to give you an idea that it's looking pretty decent on Microsoft, and Tesla's down here. And like I said, let it just kind of hang out here. It probably is a good spot down at 216. And it got down to what, 217 area. Yesterday it got down to 213. They're probably good dips on it because it is setting up super bullish. And like I said, it'll get back to 260 plus. So that is your Tesla, and it will get moving. Nike, let's look at it. NKE up 52 cents, curling up really nice right there, huh? I think Nike's getting set up to get blasting too. So you can watch Nike set up at that 82. It's going to set up and get back into the 90s again pretty soon. Rivian, is this going to get set up? It's down 20, and the line just kind of got a little more crooked. I guess the 20 and the hard line are coming down together for it, which is kind of crazy, but we'll time it out perfect. I'll let you know when Rivian's ready, okay? And PLTR, that one's pulling back, and like I was saying, I wouldn't have messed with it. It was way at the top. It needs to come back down into that $39 area at least, and then can reset up. So watch for that to pull back. Sophie was up. I think it's topping out though. Um, 1018 came down a little bit, but yeah, I think Sophie's gonna have to top out there and come back down to reality a little bit, and then it's gonna set up super bullish again. So looking good, BA. Boeing BA Aerospace and Defense. This looks like it's about to start rolling again, guys. So I might have to check out Boeing because once it gets over that 153, it's going to get cruising back up to that 160, 161, and keep going. So Boeing was way down there, and it's looking good to rebound. So keep your eye on that one, as a matter of fact. Snow, SNOW, that's down 42 cents. Going to trade in between this channel. We knew it was popping up that one day. It ran up like $6, $7 for us. We knew that. And now it's just kind of chilling. So we'll watch it. Dell's going to probably have to pull back a little bit. We knew that was running up. Let it pull back to the 119, 120, and we'll get bouncing again. And AMD, Advanced Micro, that one's dipping pretty nice today. Let that, oh, well, semiconductors, there you go. So let it pull back right here to like the 152, 148 range, and then we'll get bouncing back, set up real nice. So you have some nice opportunities on these bad boys. Space, SPCE, I'm telling you, it's going to go to space. 677. It was up 18 cents. It got up to 686, and it is looking good to try to continue. So you can watch this one tomorrow as well. SPCE. It is looking pretty good as well right now. INTC down 78 cents, another semiconductor one, and hitting that line. I think you're going to get a bounce back on INTC, so watch for that one to try to bounce. Disney, DIS, at 94.22 down the, oh, this one's going to pull back right here to like 92 area and get cruising. It's trying to hit the line. It was just bouncing back. Let it pull back a hair, and then Disney's setting up super bull. You're going to see Disney go from 95 to 110 without even trying. So Disney's setting up super bullish. I don't know what they have going on, but today the Universal plans early summer launch of new park with marquee Harry Potter ride. And so yeah, it's kind of it's setting up to run soon. Disney SMCI. Let's see what it did. There you go, Luis Rodriguez. This is one of them that you wanted to see. Semiconductor one for sure. Computer hardware, but they do stuff with that. And let's see. It actually doesn't look bad at all. It's high. It opened at 47.35, got up to 48.61. It's sitting at about 47.70, right around there. If it pulls back, it's coming down into the 44s. Nothing crazy, but it honestly looks like it's ready to get taken off. So I don't think that news hurt it. And it looks like it wants to run up to that 65 area pretty soon. So SMCI, I think, is looking solid as well. So keep your eyes on that one as well. Let's look at our Oxy. They were down today. Oxy down 235, and just pulling back. Let's see when it hits that line. If it gets back down to that $50 range and see if it wants to bounce. I'll keep an eye on it tomorrow. Exxon Mobil, XOM, down 373. And again, hitting these lines. Let's see if it wants to hit the 118 area and bounce back and try to get moving again. So I'll keep my eye on that as well. Mara is down 6 cents, but they have that weird look like they want to try to blast off some more, just a little healthy pullback. So I think Mara's going to try to run up higher. Riot was up 3 cents. This one's kind of hitting around the top, but I have a feeling it's going to get over that $9 range and start popping again even higher. So watch for Riot to try to run. You know, if it's moving in the morning, it's popping up there and it'll have a nice little run. We kind of knew it was going to run here, but it looks like it's going to run up higher. So keep an eye on that, RIOT. And here's our CLSK Clean Spark up 42 cents. We were looking at it yesterday, and I know we've been looking at it on the list, and it's running and it's getting bullish to run up into that 14 area, it looks like. So I think that one's going to run some more in the morning as well, Luis Rodriguez. So you can keep an eye on that for some more momentum on CLSK. And we added that to our list, and that is moving. COIN, Coinbase was down a penny. Has that weird look where it just kind of might have topped out there, might pull back a little bit. I'll look at it in the morning to get a better idea if it wants to run up some more. Just has that look like it's not sure what it wants to do. CONL, Grand Shares 2-time long for the coin. And has that exact same look. So I'm gonna have to look at that one as well in the morning. But it is setting up super bullish to be at like $40. So 29.17, I have a feeling it just went sideways for a moment and it's gonna keep running up there. Probably coin will do the same thing. DJT got knocked down, but I mean it ran up to the top. I told you it would get to 25, and then it ran up to over today. It ran up over 33 and it was in the top. It needed to come down. It may just stick itself right here in the 25s and stay flat for a little bit while the 20 and 50 come up and then just really start to cruise again. So we'll keep our eye on DJT. I mean, we nailed it from 13 to 33, so I guess we can't really complain. And it's setting up to be bullish. I'd already told you guys what was going to happen. So look at the betting sites. What have I been saying for over 2 months, probably, right? I mean, everybody can attest to what I've been saying and back that one. I've made it real clear what I see on the charts, and it's starting to really roll around and look like that now. So here we go with DJT, and I called it out at 13, and we were at 33 today. And how about our PHUN? That was super fun today, getting over $5. It was up to 7.99 at one point, PHUN, and it got crazy there. So it opened at what, 536, got up to 599, and I was telling you in the $3 range that it was going to get fun, and boom, it got fun. All right. So that was PHUN. And again, another one way in the top, probably has to pull back now, but we'll let it pull back and we'll catch the next ride up like we always do. And how about BlackRock? It's over 1,000, like I said, 1,007, up another $15, just running in that top. It's crazy, but I told you it would do it. And PYPL, good old PayPal. Oh, that one's pulling back, actually. I'm surprised. Curled down. It was in a good spot. Let it pull back a little bit. We'll see where it pulls back to. And it's actually setting up super bullish. So, well, excuse me. Getting tired, I guess. But PayPal's not looking bad, or is pulling bad. It wasn't looking bad yesterday, was what I was gonna say. And is pulling back a little bit. Did come back under, crossing through. Let me look at it on mine, get a better idea. And yeah, it did. It crossed down there. So we'll have to keep an eye on PayPal. I'll look at it to see how far it wants to dip down. That's for sure. And we can catch that on the way back up. And Qualcomm, and that one's down 395. That one looked great yesterday. It did run up a little higher, opened at 177, got to 179, and its low is 172. It's at 174 in the after hours. And it could just be like a little healthy pullback. I'll keep an eye. Another one setting up super bullish. And this is a semiconductor company, so as well with everything else after ASML. They all kind of pulled back today. So there we go. Let me take a look and see what's going on. If anyone else wants me to see anything, Asian stocks slide as tech sell-off hurts risk mood. Wall Street ends lower on tech weakness. Oil extends slide. All of Kamala Harris's and Donald Trump's proposed tax breaks in two charts. That must be interesting. And Trump needs mammoth tariffs. It's why he might not be all talk. I have no idea what that's even talking about. And in the stock market news, the slump in chip stocks weighs on indexes. Nothing real crazy to be honest with you. I do see PEGY. People are buying insider buying on that. Let's look at Peggy real quick. We didn't even put her on the list tonight. I skipped a few of them that were kind of just pulling back a little bit, but yeah, Peggy's just kind of pulling back a little bit. We'll wait for Peggy to side up again and look a little bit better. Let me go through and make sure I got everybody's here. Sean, there you go. Cool. I appreciate you following. I appreciate that. Anytime you have questions, not a problem at all. You know that. I answer everybody. I think everybody knows lots and lots of emails and DMs, and I respond to everybody, and I definitely enjoy it. So go ahead and send me messages and ask whatever. So we'll keep it going. Honestly, when you guys ask questions, and I know it comes, I generally get the same question from multiple people, like in the same, like I went through today. That's why I go through it because that's why I like the question. I kind of know exactly how everyone's kind of, not everyone, but a lot of people are thinking the same things because they ask me similar questions. So I try to go through it so I can answer that question. And I know that multiple people are already thinking that. So or wondering that question. So it makes it easy to go through things. So yeah, ask anything. I'm more than happy to answer, that's for sure. OKLO, let's look at that laptop travel and see what that's doing. A utilities company up at $1.61. You know what? That's a momentum play for tomorrow. That should run right up into the top and get cruising some more. So, portable nuclear reactors and NNE. So he had these earlier when they first listed, and they almost look like they were shell companies back here at like the $10 area, and then they had pulled back. I guess they started kind of really starting back up around like March 26th, and now they're starting to move. So OKLO wants to run up in the top, and NNE, Nano Nuclear Energy, this one is kind of just pulling back there. I'd watch for this one to dip down, but it's going to set up by like 3 weeks down the road to be super bullish. So that one may have a little dip action, but it will set up. And they all do. I mean, honestly, they're either going up or down, and you just have to know where it's at on the chart and how to time it right. And it's pretty much all you need to look at on charts. And then the rest is trading smart. And we go through that as well. And I think that's the most important thing, and we touch on it all the time. Locking in profits is super important. And like I said, don't worry about hitting them tops all the time. Just lock in profits and just roll them over, and you will see your accounts grow rather than trying to focus on them tops and bottoms every time. Just know that you're locking in profits and you're winning every trade. If you can win every trade you're getting into and you don't have to get into a lot, you're going to be successful in this. And that's really what it is picking out the best opportunities. And that's why I say find the best opportunities to chart you like the best, you're confident in, and roll with them. Don't try to spread it around with 100 of them because, yeah, well, half of them hit, half of them lose, and then you're out of your mind trying to figure that all out. So it's easier to stick with the ones you're confident in and just know that they're rolling. I mean, we pick them out all the time. We can go through, look at it, and LGHL should continue to move. NDRA setting up AUUD. UCAR should continue its way up. Look at SOPA in the morning. Oh, we did go through Peggy. I had it asterisked anyway, and there's insider buying. Um, MAXN may continue its way up. Look for that ASML bounce, and then the meme stocks are looking good. GameStop, AMC, and Chewy. Boeing's looking good. Space, SPCE, Virgin Galactic. Intel could possibly bounce right there. SMCI is looking decent to set up. SXTC looking good. PENN. And SPRC was running. How about the Cheetahs setup? KTRA, ADTX, BMRA, and CHRO is looking good. And so is that CMAX. And what else? Silo, SILO, NNVC, WISA, WISA, and XLO. So a couple of them I asterisk, some of them I look at in the morning, but a ton, all kinds of great opportunities. And we knew that Microsoft was looking good and Google's rolling tomorrow morning. So you can already figure Google's trying to roll up there. And there you go. I would say that's a decent market review right there. I hope everybody enjoyed that. Let me just go over to Stock Twits real quick, just see if there's anything going on real quick over here. Boom, 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 boom. Bunch of that. ASML, bam. And DRUG still trending and STEC, that one's way up. What that one do? It ran up like 700% too. What is it? Santec Holdings was a China company. It's not saying anything. Yeah, it did. It ran up like from 38 cents to $3. Holy shit. This one went ape shit ballistic too, huh? In the after hours. God damn, look at that thing. Oh man, that one just what did it even announce today? Nothing. I don't see anything, but this one went crazy. STEC. So you can look at that if it's going to try to continue to run. ASML, Litecoin, Wolf, WOLF. We had looked at that before, and that was running up yesterday, and it did pop up today, but it's hitting that top and probably will come down. Fun, we did that. ALT, I used to trade this one, Altamoon. Looking pretty good though, actually. Should try to bounce off of that 704 right where it's at and can get up to that $8 range for ALT. And then there's TSM, ENPH are both down, and UAL. What's that? Isn't that a American United Airlines airline company? There you go. And that one's up in the top, and I wouldn't trust that at all. So there you go with that bad boy. And then our Yang is up to 389, and things are looking good for that. So there we go. I would say we did a pretty nice little review right there. And anyone has any questions, I'm just kind of scrolling through to see if I see anything else I missed, but I think we got it all. And we'll be back at 7 a.m. for pre-market, so I'll answer anything at that point. If you have any questions, just shoot them over and I'll check it out. And there you go. Thank you everybody for hanging out. Greatly appreciate it. Laptop Travel, John Wong, RD, East Coast Beach Girl, Joe P, Elena, Game Changer, Luis Rodriguez, Sean, and so many others that were on. Greatly appreciate it. I'll catch you guys at 7 a.m. Have a good night and let me know if you want me to look at anything in the morning and we'll go over it for sure and be catching more poppers because that's what we do here. So thanks again for hanging out, and I will catch you guys in the morning. Have a good night, everybody.